Hello, shed-dwelling, train-loving Shedmouthshire hobbits. How are you? It's been a while, hasn't it, since we've been out in the shed? If you have been wondering where I've been for the last 6 months, stay tuned and you're about to find out. Yes, folks, right, here we go. 6 months down the road since my last video. And it's about time I came onto the powers of the internet to explain myself. As usual, it's going to be another boring video of me talking at my telephone, but I'm sure you'll be half interested to find out what's been going on. We're going to start off with what I've been doing model railway wise. After all, that is why you're here. And then secondly, we're going to go into my second topic, which by the thumbnail of this video, you've probably all worked out what it's about anyway. So we're going to go into that in a second. But firstly, let's look at model railways and what I have been doing. Nothing in here. Absolutely sod and all. The railway hasn't developed in the slightest since I put those rocks up on that side. And that's it. That's all I've done. Nothing at all. The video went out last October-ish, I think, and after that things started going a little bit haywire in my own little life. I say haywire, not all bad, but certainly challenging, I think, is the word for it. So going into winter time, I didn't get much chance to get out here. However, something did pop up around about Christmas time, which is quite exciting, and that is where I work at the Little Ironmongers. The shop next door is a bookshop. And there was a new book being released by an author called Nat Harrison. The book was called The Girl Who Raced the World, and it's kind of like a modern day take, if you like. I say modern take. It's more like it's a more modern version of Around the World in 80 Days. You know, a girl goes on her adventures using various forms of transport. And the bookshop approached me to see if I could produce a display for the window for the launch of this book in hardback. And the author was coming down. That was going to come down and do some book signings on the day of the release. So a little bit of pressure there to produce something that's half decent. And the timescale wasn't the longest in the world. Okay, I think I had 6 weeks in total to produce something railway orientated. Now, bless her, the lady who owned the bookshop didn't mind if it was a static display or if it was something that could move. Ideally with a bit of movement would be nice, but she left it completely open book for me to decide what to do. So I spent the Christmas period thinking about this and how I'm going to build a display themed on a book to go in a window sill, which is only 1/2 metre wide, but is actually quite long. I could cut 3 metres long. So I was thinking, what could I do to do this? And then I thought, well, if the girl's going to go around the world in this book, she'd have a travel case of some description. And then the light bulb moment, you know where I'm going here, model railway in a suitcase, which means using a small scale, like N, for example. Happy days. So whereas I thought the first N-gauge layout I'd ever be building would be in here, it turns out I built it in a suitcase. And I had 4 weeks to do it. So by the time I got the case, the display had to be done by the 7th of February, and I bought the case on the 8th of January. So yeah, literally, 4 weeks. It's quite a task. As it happened, it turned out all right. I've got to say, I'm very, very proud of it. I just used a simple oval layout. I built the layout externally, and then at the end slotted it inside the case. So it was quite a challenge. I've never done any work before with resin, and I made a lake in the middle. In the book, the girl, she goes through various countries, Italy, France, Japan, India, and of course the UK and that sort of thing. So I tried to get a little section of this on the layout of all the different countries that she would go through. And her main forms of transport were steam locomotives, a steamship, and an elephant. So I tried to incorporate that on the external part of the layout. So the loco going around the middle, around the case, should I say, a lake, if you like, underneath the viaduct and out the side of the case. And as it goes through the side of the case, it opens up into the sea, and there's the boat and a loco and an elephant. So it's quite entertaining, bit of a challenge, but I'm really pleased with it. Really, really chuffed. And now it's been built and it's been used for what it had to be used for. the landlord of my local boozer, the best pub in town, the Mermaid's Locker. That is now where the railway is going to be living the rest of its days. It's Gavin, the guy who owns the pub, he bought it, and it's now on display next to the bar, which is a lovely excuse for me to visit the pub on a regular basis. Sorry I can't get home on time tonight, my dear, because I've got to go and service the loco and clean the rails. Good thought, eh? So yeah, that's where it is, and it's looking really nice. Gav set it up, and there is some nice lighting, and it looks really, really good. So, very proud moment, a very tiring time. I can't deny I was a bit knackered, coming home from my day job, straight into the shed until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, building this thing, and parts of it were still wet when it went on display in the window. So, yeah, talk about a challenge, but a very exciting one. And that really is as far as my model railway building or modelling, shall we say, has gone to. It kind of finished in the early part of February. And whilst all of that was going on and building the railway and the challenges faced at my normal day job anyway, I won't go into details of that, but let's just say things got a bit harder than they usually are. And amongst all of that, I decided that it was time to follow a dream, and it kind of raised a question. Now, the dream of mine was, as a child, I've mentioned this before in my videos, living in this town of Sandwich. It's a lovely little town, lived here all my life pretty much, and growing up we had a model shop, King Craft Models it was called, and I spent most of my youth inside of this model shop. I loved it. I'd go in there after school, look at the wall of beautiful models that I couldn't afford, and then walk away again. I think Anna and Phil, the guys who ran it, were pretty much fed up with me by the end of each week. So I'd walk in there, look at stuff, and then walk away without purchasing stuff. I had no money. But either way, when it disappeared in the mid to late 90s, we've been starved of a model shop ever since. And from that point on, I thought I would love to bring something back. And it's been all these years later. And I kind of woke up towards the end of last year a little bit and thought, you know what? I've worked in retail for 27 years. 27 years, that's a long time working in retail, both in sales, in parts departments, mainly in the automotive industry. Worked at Renault, I've worked at many motorcycle dealerships now, the bicycle industry, and that. So I'm well versed on how to talk to customers and customer facing, and I've done it all my life, really, all my working life. And I kind of felt that I wanted to do something for myself, for a change. I've worked my absolute knackers off for 27 years, and I'm not blowing smoke up my own backside here, but I work hard. I do work very hard, way above and beyond perhaps what I should do. And here I am at the age of 46, and I'm still bumming around on minimum wage. It's just what retail is. It's never going to earn you a fortune. But the guys I've worked for are all brilliant. They're all hard workers themselves. And, how can I put this? The amount of work I've done, I feel I've made their lives better financially. And I'm still at the bottom of the run myself. I'm still the crap on your bottom of your soul. I'm still the gopher, the run around. And I kind of felt, no, this is a time. And I want to have something for myself. I want to do something for myself and have my own business, my own shop. And this has been kicking around in my head for a little while now. And towards the end of last year, I thought, a model shop. A model shop would be really cool. Bring something back to the town. And I was kind of convinced by a really good friend of mine, Joe, who kind of said, look, you can do it. You can do this. And I'm going to just sit here today and I want to just have a chat and let you know whereabouts I am with this project. So starting off, the idea came into head, a model shop, okay. And instantly it's just thrown up so many barriers. It's unbelievable how much you have to go through to get to where I am now. We'll start from the start. The first thing is premises. I don't have one. I don't have a building. I can't afford the rent of a building. I can barely afford the rent on my house, let alone the rent of a building, It's an awkward situation. So I haven't got a property. Suppliers won't supply me without one, so instantly on a downer there. And with retail the way it is, I've watched retail over the years just plummet. You know, the high streets are getting more and more boarded up windows. Model shops themselves are disappearing countrywide. I think our nearest one now, we've got Turner's in Dover. Terry and Shirley, they're lovely people, been there for donkeys. I'm not quite sure what their future plans are, but I'm hearing rumours of retirement potentially. Apart from that, I think one has now freshly opened up in Folkestone, and then on from that you're on to the amazing place which is Model World at Sittingbourne, which is an amazing outlet and stuff the dream's made of. You know, that's a model shop and a half, and that's the dream territory. But it's a lovely shop, you know. So with retail as it is on the decline, everyone I spoke to is like, "You're mad. What are you even thinking about this for? You know, retail's on its arse. You need to have, you know, big warehouses full of stuff and knock it out cheap." Lots of negativity to start with, and I've kind of chosen to ignore it and still plough ahead, because I genuinely think there is still a place for bricks and mortar places, bricks and mortar buildings, a model shop. You can go and look at stuff, not just look at a screen. Okay, the buying experience is important. We all remember it. We all had a place we went to as a kid, a model shop, and you go in there, you've got your fond memories of walking into the shop and it's floor to ceiling full of kits, and that essence of buying something and getting something for your money, looking at it. We've all come very digital now. We've all become this world of looking around on screens and stuff. I want to try and reverse that. I know I can't, I know it's the way forward, but in my head I still think it's slightly reversible, and there's still a market, a place for that personal service. I'll give you an example. Evie has got right into music over the last couple of years. She loves old music, vinyls, that sort of stuff. She likes, you know, Fleetwood Mac and, you know, old stuff, David Bowie, that kind of thing. And she likes nothing more than going around charity shops and looking at old school vinyl. And she'd rather do that than download some music off the internet. The whole buying experience, going to HMV, finding a favourite artist right now and going, "Oh, look, vinyl, woohoo!" That's a buying experience. And for someone of Evie's age to be picking up on that, actually, there's more to life than a download. You can actually get something for your money, not something that's digital to sit on a laptop or a phone. She's loving this whole thing. So if someone of her age can pick that up, I still think there's a place for it on the high street. Okay, so there we are. No premises, no one to supply me. Doomed from the start, aren't I? Completely doomed. Next problem I've got is money. I ain't got none. So this is the big thing. Can I start a model shop with no money, no premises, and no supply? It sounds the impossible task. And when I say no money, I mean no money. I don't have a savings pot. I've got a bit of debt, like most people have, but I don't have a savings pot. There's no inheritances, you know, to be even thinking about. That's not something in my head. It never has been, never will be. You know, I'm not in a position where parents can help, or I'm the only one who can help financially. There's nothing of that going to happen, you know. And if there was that kind of money, that backup from anyone family orientated, I wouldn't be looking to start a shop. I'm looking at trying to get a mortgage or something. Business loans, again, they won't touch me with a barge pole. I already have a little bit of debt. I don't own my own house. I've got nothing to back it up. I couldn't afford the repayments anyway. So even if I did get a loan from someone, I've got to pay it back. And my money each month on a minimum wage plan is, my money's used every month. I have nothing spare. Like I say, I've got nothing behind me at all. So yeah, like I say, the project is doomed from the word go. And yet still, this guy, Joe, who I spoke to last year, who I used to work with, didn't convince me I could still do it, but he put this bit of belief in me, to believe in myself, and that I could do something, and I could step out from that rut of being just a Martin, you know, and just do something different. And if you don't try, you don't know. So, first thing to do is look at suppliers, to see if we could get anywhere with it. And personally, I wanted to test the water to see if even models would work in this area and speak to people. So the first port of call was Hornby. Now, Hornby wouldn't touch me because I don't have a bricks and mortar building. However, they would supply the shop where I work 5 days a week, and it's open 6 days a week, which is Carpenters in Sandwich. So Carpenters took on Airfix, Humbrol, and a little bit of Hornby just to test the water with models and see if they'd work in the town. Instantly, it had a bit of an effect in town. People were coming in, looking at the kits, buying the Airfix stuff. The trains got lots of attention in the window, but we didn't have that much of it, so it wasn't a selection. It got a lot of attention, but no one put their hand in the pocket to buy anything. So instantly, we could tell that the Airfix kits, actually, there is an element of modelling in the community, and people were asking what the future plans were. And myself and Joe, we had these ideas what we could do as a model shop. Those ideas that we did have soon went sideways and blown out of the water. So we're kind of left with me having nothing and the shop where I worked having Airfix and Hornby. Okay, so but not to be outdone. Across the road from where I work is a very important central building in the town called the Guildhall, and it's a very historic building. There's a museum there and bits and pieces, and it's a really good venue. The old courtrooms there, that sort of stuff. And in the back of the building is a room, and this room is rented out on a daily basis to businesses, pop-up shops, if you like. I don't like that word pop-up shops, but I suppose they are. Now, this one's a bit different in the sense that the people that use it Monday to Saturday are regulars. They're there every week in, week out, and have been for a fair few years. So it's not like new people are coming in left, right and centre. It's the same people. But they had Tuesdays free. And I thought, okay, this gives me somewhere to trade from. The next problem is looking at suppliers. The suppliers would not supply me without a premises. Okay, now I've got around that a little bit. I've done a lot of work talking to people and suppliers and telling them my future plans. And thankfully, a few of them have decided to give me a go. Okay, so putting a few names out there, the Hobby Co. So to name a few brands here of models that the Hobby Company do: Tamiya, main importer, ICM, Dragon kits. You've got Carder brick kits. Lots of different things coming in from those guys, and they were very kind to give me a shot. And it's quite a nice feeling. It's a very warm feeling when they do give you a go, because now I fish I can say that, hey guys, I'm a Tamiya main stockist, which is amazing, you know. Bandai Gundam kits, I can get that sort of thing now, which is lovely, and I'm learning stuff all the time from this. I also now have a account with a company called Expo. Now Expo do quite a few model railway things. I can get Dapol, I can get some Hornby bits now, and as time's going on, I'm managing to do these accounts with various suppliers. So it's all been going okay for the last few months. So yeah, so now it's the suppliers kind of on board. We've got a supplier on board. We've now got a premises to run the shop from 1 day a week, admittedly. But the next problem is the funding to buy the stock in the first place. Now, a lot of these companies, you've got to do a sign up. You've got to buy X amount of stuff to get the franchise, to get the account. So the next problem is getting the money. The biggest problem is getting the money. So you can imagine, I have been selling everything. I've sold anything that had a decent value, has now gone. Any penny I've got, which was, literally is nothing. Everything I've got, every bit of funding I have got, is now sitting in stock. I have nothing else. I've got nothing. I'm doomed financially, but I've got some stock for the shop. Yeah, it's a bit nerve-wracking, to be honest, but hey, I believe it can do something. So there you go. I now have so that's it. Now I have stock, I have somewhere to trade from, and I have a bit of supply. The internet's been a challenge. My website currently isn't working. I had a guy doing it for me, but he's now busy, so I've got to try and do it myself. I tried having to go the other day, and for some reason it's gone down. I don't know everything about that, but I'm on to the guy who deals with the servers and whatnot, and he's going to try and fix it. And yeah, the website's going a bit slowly, but it will get there. And eventually I'd like to be selling over the internet as well throughout the week. The shop itself, now it's been going for 4 weeks, which is 4 days in effect, 4 Tuesdays. It's a challenge. It's a lot of work. I leave my job at the Ironmongers, 5:30, 4:45. I come home, grab the car, go to the lockup, get the stuff, and it's 4 runs from the lockup to the hub, and I probably leave there after setting everything up probably about 9:45ish, get indoors, have some dinner, up early the next morning, get Evie to school, head down there for a day's trading, and then it all has to come apart again Tuesday night. So I'm there till late, bring the stuff all back from the shop, back to the lockup, come home. So Mondays and Tuesdays are just full on getting this thing set up. But the response has been fantastic. The first 4 days we've been trading, or 4 weeks, it's just a Tuesday, the response in the town's been brilliant. People have been coming in with lots of words of encouragement. A few doom and gloomers who are telling me that I wasted my time and it's never going to work in a million years, but wish me all the best anyway. Yeah, thanks for that. But most of the time I'm getting nothing but positive comments, and I've sold models. I'm selling more than I thought I was going to be honest. And it's been a lot of fun. Where can it go from here? Who knows? Who knows? The dream is to have my own shop. I would love it to grow to a point where I could have my own proper model shop in Sandwich, in the town. That would just be a dream come true, wouldn't it? That'd be fantastic. I know retail really, really well. I've never run a business before, and that's a big eye-opener right now. Looking at figures and accounts and that sort of stuff. It's all a learning curve alongside my normal day job, which is full on in itself, so yeah, it's quite heavy going. But I like the challenge, and I'm loving it. When I'm in there on a Tuesday, it's just nice not having to work for someone else. I have my way of wanting to run something, and this it's mine. I can run it how I like. If I want to buy a model from a guy in the street, I can do. I'm not having to answer to anyone, and it's just nice to have something of my own, and it's very, very special. It's very, very heartwarming. And my first delivery that turned up from the Hobby Co, it had Tamiya on the box, and I got emotional. I got really, this is it, I'm finally doing this. And a brand, I think, if you're into your models, you know who Tamiya, or Tamiya, how it's supposed to be pronounced, Tamiya, you know who they are. And that symbol of the 2 stars, I grew up with it. And seeing a box come registered to me with stocking from Tamiya is like, oh my God, this is a thing. I just now have to prove it works and make this shop the next level, and it needs to start wiping its face and doing me proud. At the moment, in theory, it doesn't have to earn anything money-wise for me, because my wage from my day job is paying my rent, it's paying my bills, just about, but it's paying the bills. The model shop, all it has to do is tick along and pay the rent money for that once a week, and a bit of money extra, which goes straight back into the business to buy more stock for the following week. So if I can just grow it and grow it and grow it, I'd like to stock stuff people want. It's very easy to still fill the shop up with stuff that I like, but it needs to be stuff that people want. And then all the while people come through the front door, I'm learning what people are after, what they're looking for, taking on board the advice and moving it in the directions that I feel that they want me to go in to a point, and things that I think are going to sell okay. This whole thing a bit of a learning curve, and the more people I can talk to, the better. So that's where we are. We've done a bit of modelling in January. We've set up a business. I've got my own sort of model shop-ish, which I'm extremely proud of. And even now, I'm getting a bit emotional about the whole thing. I think I'm actually doing this now, and I'm in a position where I didn't think I'd ever be in. Whether it's successful or not, I just don't know. And I can only work as hard as I am and more to make this a success. I have been offered to do Mondays as well in the hub, which would be lovely, but currently it doesn't earn me enough money to drop my day job's wage. It needs to be doing quite well for me to do that, so it's a 1 day a week only. Weekends, unfortunately, the hub is busy. It's already got other people in there who've been there for years, so I can't take a weekend day. So I'm stuck on a midweek day, which is, footfall's not brilliant on a Tuesday, but beggars can't be choosers, you know. So yeah, there we are. There we go. That's enough for that. I've rabbited on about this long enough. But yeah, if you are on any social medias apart from the YouTube, of course, we have a Facebook page and we have an Instagram page, which basically one of my old ones converted across to Stourside Hobbies, you know. So yeah, look up Stourside Hobbies on Facebook. That's where I'm posting. That's where I'm going to post all my used stock and advertise the new stuff. That's really where the main feed of information is going to be going in onto Facebook. Stourside Hobbies. Give us a like, give us a little thumbs up and a follow, and feel free to like the content that goes on there. That'd be wonderful, and I really appreciate your support. You've been amazing on YouTube. You've all been fantastic with the support, and really this the reason for me making this video isn't to try and rally up support for my shop. It's more of an explanation of why I haven't been on YouTube and why I've neglected it, why you've all been so kind to watch videos and leave lovely comments and I haven't responded, you know. And that's not me being rude, and I'm here to emphasize that. I know it is rude, the fact that I haven't replied to you, but it's not meant with a rude intention. It's just my head right now is filled with going to work, coming home, working, going to work, coming home. That's what I do. I'm constantly working. So although I've read your comments, I don't like to just put a thumbs up or a heart or something on a comment. I like to sit down, read your comment, understand it and reply nicely. And if I can't do it nicely and reply to you as a person rather than just a clicky robot, then it's better that I don't, you know, because I want to spend the time with you guys to talk to you properly, you know. And if I can't do that, then, but yeah, it's not for rudeness, and I do appreciate all your support, but that's really why I'm making the video today. So just before I go, I'd also like to give a quick shout out to Rob over at Little Wicket Railway. he posted a video the other day, which is from our Wibbly Wobbly Wagon Challenge from a couple of years ago, and he did an amazing job. I mean, we had some wonderful entries into the Wagon Challenge. We really did have some amazing things. Rob took it to a level that is way beyond what we'd imagined anyone to do, and he did a really, really good job on it. So if you're watching this video, Rob, well done, mate. Thank you very much for posting it, because that was absolutely mega, absolutely brilliant. I think, yeah, that's where I'm probably going to end this video. I think, you know, I've waffled on to you enough, quite a lot, and yeah, look after yourselves, take care, keep on doing what you do. All you YouTubers out there, keep on YouTubing. I do watch your content, I just don't comment, but I do watch it as background when I'm doing stuff on my laptop for the business. So you are always in my thoughts. Mark over at Donegal Dad Rail, my God, your layout's coming on phenomenally well, brilliant stuff. Yeah, in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching, and if you need anything model railways, give us a quick tinkle. Catch you later on. See ya.